Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl Tanya, and yes, y'all have stopped by my channel where I love sharing my passion for fashion and many other things. Well, y'all know what time it is. I'm in the kitchen. I'm doing a southern, down home, country kitchen Sunday dinner cooking. If that made any sense. Anyway, every once in a while, yes, divas, we have to be domesticated, whether our children are already grown and gone. And y'all know I'm a working gal, but every once in a while I do put my foot in some stuff. And I've got family coming over today, and I'm in the rotation, so it's my time to do the big family dinner. So I just wanted to come on and just let you know I'm just doing smothered pork chops with onions and gravy. And I actually went out and bought some fried chicken. So I have two meats. I'm doing fresh collard greens from scratch, a pot of rice, and I'm gonna do some sweet baby carrots and some corn muffins and some banana nut muffins. So that is what is for dinner this Sunday. And of course, whatever your drink of choice is, do it, do it. Since I'm in the Carolinas, I'm gonna do some lemonade and sweet tea. So anyway, what I wanted to do is show you all, for some of you ladies who are afraid or have been intimidated about doing collard greens. It's very simple. I've already got them over in the pot boiling, but I'm just going to just show you the simple way that I do them. Of course, when you get them from the grocery store, you can get them already cleaned and trimmed, whole leaf collard greens. Okay, and of course they have a band-aid, a rubber band on them. And like I said, I've already done a big bushel, but just for the purposes of showing you all, I'm going to just take one of them out. Okay, they're whole leaf like this. Now, the way I cook mine, I don't like the stem because it takes a long time for that stem to cook. So what I do, of course, when you get your greens, even though they're already cut and cleaned, I still like to go ahead on and rinse them off, of course, because you know when they're in the grocery store, people pick them up, handle them. So y'all know, use your veggie wash spray, or just, if you want to, which what I like to normally do too, is I fill the sink up, sprinkle a little baking soda in there, and let them sit for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Just let them sit. Then I rinse them off, okay? And so what I do, again, I take the whole leaf, okay, and I'll do about 5 or 6 of these at a time, where I'll take out the stem, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Then I roll them up and then cut them and then just put them in the pot. And when you season them, I do salt, pepper, garlic salt, red crushed pepper, and I put a little vinegar in it. And then what really helps season your collard greens is the meat that you use. I use smoked neck bones, and this is what they look like. I've got about 3 big ones in the pot, but this is what they look like, smoked neck bones. And you can find this in your meat department in any grocery store, I'm sure. And just ask for smoked meat bones. These are pork smoked neck bones. You can get them in turkey, but those are the two that I alternate between. But they had a good price on the pork neck bones, so that's what I got. And that's what I use to season my collards. But let me go ahead on and show you how to cut the stem out. Just pan down. Okay, cut the stem out. Like I said, let me get it down so you all can see. Just simply, you can flip it over on this side, on the back side, and I just run my knife along the side of that stem, and you'll have it like that, and you just pull it out. So then you'll have this stem where you've cut it out, and you just have the collard green leaf. And what I normally do, like I said, is I take this, I'll do about 5 or 6 of these big leaves at a time. And then what I do is I just roll them like this and just simply cut. You can cut them to however big you like, but I'll make about 3 to 4 cuts, just depending on how big they are. And then that way, when they, of course, when they cook down, they cook down considerably. you don't have big leafy pieces in your pot. Now some people like their collard greens big and leafy. I don't. I like to go ahead on and have mine sort of cut up, and then I just put them over here in the pot. And what I'm gonna do is just show you how I've got them in the pot so you can see them. Hopefully it don't fog up the camera. Okay. You can see they're in there boiling nice and beautifully. And I'll boil them probably a good on high for about 30 minutes, and then cook them on low and just let them tender and simmer down and wilt down. And then you just continue to check them when they're tender and they don't have a crunch to them. And just like any other green, you know when it's done. Again, when you've cooked as long as I do, you just learn by experience. So that's how you do your collard greens. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to prepare is I'm going to show you how I'm going to season up my pork chops. Fry them in some shallow oil and then put them in the oven so they'll bake the gravy and onion in. But I'll show you that next. Okay, y'all. Now on to the smothered pork chops. Okay. I went to the grocery store and I bought the center cut. Y'all can see that? The center cut of the pork, and went ahead on and got them. I just like the center cut. They're thick cut. Again, my crowd likes the thick cut. Okay. And of course, with any meat, when you open up the package, you just rinse it off. Okay. And then you season it the way you want to season it, okay? So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, y'all, those are the pork chops. And let's take a look at what the greens are doing. The greens are good to go. I done tasted them, and I'm going to tell y'all, these are off the chain. And let me tell you what, too. That pot liquor down in there, cut, God almighty. You can drink that as a... If I could put that pot liquor on ice, shoot, man, that's the business right there. But that's what that cornbread is going to be dunked down into. Okay, y'all. I'm going to take these pork chops out of the grease and just sit them over here to the side. Because I'm going to use some of this hand drippings to make my gravy. Okay? And they're not done. They're not quite done. They might be almost done, but not quite done. Okay. Okay, so once you get your pork chops out of the grease, what you want to do is cut your heat down until you put your pan back on the stove. Okay. Now, that's a lot of grease. I can't use all of this grease, so I'm going to pour some of it off. Okay. And then we'll move on. Okay. I've got drained off the grease that I'm not going to use, and I'm going to use McCormick's pork gravy. Okay. And all you need is a cup of water with this gravy. And what I do to make it easier is I just open up this packet and pour it in this measuring cup, and then I pour some cold water, a cup of water, and just whisk it and stir it real quick. So you just get your whisk out. I used a half a pack of that, and I added another cup of water. And while it's in this grease, I'm gonna just pour it in here and let it thicken up. Now, while it's in this pan, I'm just going to use this whisk, and what I'm going to do is go ahead on and cut up my onions and let it sort of simmer in with the gravy as it thickens up, and I'll show you that right now. Okay, we're just going to cut up our onions, and you can cut them up however your family likes it. I'm going to cut them up in circular And then I'm going to cut them in half so they'll be like half moon shaped. Okay, so I'm just going to cut them like this basically. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut them in half. So then it'll be like this. Okay, and then I'm going to just put it in there in the gravy. And you know, with gravy, you just have to constantly keep stirring it. That's why I got my whisk in there. And okay, crumble that down in there. Okay, cut all these in half. Crumble it down in there. Just cut your gravy down. It's what you're going to do it. Crumbling all these in here, but then you're going to pour it over your pork chops and then get them on in the oven so they can be smothered pork chops. Fabulous, fabulous southern grate. And you can do this not just with pork chops, you can do this with chicken patties, beef, whatever you desire. Okay? So whenever you get it in the pan, that's exactly what it looks like. Okay? And you just stir that gravy in there. I'll pour probably a little bit more water in there so it'll thicken up. Okay? Because I want it to really slather over those pork chops. You don't have to put any seasoning, no salt and pepper on these onions, because once you get it in the oven and seal it with the foil, it's going to seal in that taste. And I just want to do a taste. Oh, that is fabulous. I'm telling y'all, that's the jam zone. Okay. Pour a little bit more water in there. And don't worry about gravy being runny, because you know what? It thickens up as it cooks. Yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. Okay? What we do now, let that get in them onions good. Let it cook. I let that cook for about 10 minutes. Okay? And then we'll put it in the pan that it's going to go in for the oven. Here's the pan that we're going to put these pork chops in, okay? I've already got a batch done, but again, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to show you how to do it. What I like to do is I'm going to put just a tad bit of oil in the bottom of the pan. And this is a real nice tempered glass set that I got from Pampered Chef one year. And yes, I paid a pretty penny for it, but it was worth it. I've had this piece for, I know, 15 years. And just coat it with just a little bit of oil, not much. Okay? And also, to keep in with my southern tradition, I'm just going to pour a small amount, probably not even a third of a cup, but just a little chicken stock. And again, all these flavors are just permeates together to give you that southern taste. Okay? What we're going to do, we're just going to simply take the pork chops and put them in the pan, like so. Try to get them so they lay flat, so all that goodness can run down over these pork chops. Okay? And you just take your sauce and just pour, and those onions will reduce down. Are you saying, oh gosh, that's a lot of onions? But those onions will reduce down And you talk about good. Whew, Lord have mercy. That's good eating. And all you do is just cover that with some aluminum foil. The onions up here. Put this stove on, okay? All you do, cover this with some aluminum foil. Put it in the oven. Let it cook for about another 30 minutes. And you are done. You hear me? And dinner will be served at 6 p.m. And what I like to do is I'll take a toothpick again and stick about 4 holes in the top for ventilation. Maybe just 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's it. And this goes in the oven. And this is your home cooked Southern style country dinner. Okay, y'all, I'm back to show you how I'm going to do my sweet baby carrots. And you can get this, of course, from your local grocery store in the produce department. These are, you know, just baby carrots. They're actually ready to eat. Put this bag in there. And that's all you have to open up your bag. And I'm going to just put it in this little shallow saucepan. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour just a little bit of chicken stock in here, just to give it a meaty flavor. Just pour a little bit in the pan, just your, you know, your regular basic chicken stock. Probably 1/4 of a cup. Just pour that in there. These in there. And that should be enough. And see, I'll take the rest of these to work. Okay. And pretty much how I'm going to season it, I'm just going to put a little salt. Okay, a little pepper. Okay, and just a dash of garlic powder. And I love parsley flakes, so I'm going to sprinkle some in here. Plus, it just makes it look pretty. And you serve it on the plate. Okay. Then, just gonna cut up some butter. Hold on, let me check on my rice. And with this meal, y'all, we all know how to make rice, so that's nothing really to show. But I'm showing these carrots, even though it's a simple recipe too, just in case you all want to try it. And for right now, I'm putting about 1/4 of a stick of butter in here. Just, you know, chunk it up and just place it strategically in different parts of the pan. I'm probably going to put a little bit more butter, okay? And then I'm going to sprinkle some sugar, and I'll probably pour just a little water in it. I don't want to put any more chicken stock in there because I don't want it to get I don't want it to taste too salty. And like I said, I'm going to put a little bit more butter in here, just so it'll give it a nice glaze, like a buttery glazed taste to it. Okay. And like I said, Southern cooking is just all about, like in the movie Soul Food, it's about the love you put into it. So now I'm just going to sprinkle a little sugar on top. And it's not going to be too sweet, but it just gives it just a hint. And for the purposes of measuring, probably 1 to 1.5 tablespoons. Okay? And so that is your sweet, buttery glazed carrots. And it's just very simple. And all I'm going to do is cover it. And as it heats up, I'll go ahead on and stir it. And that's it. Now, some people have been known to put cinnamon. I'm not going to put cinnamon in that. But what I am going to do, again, to go with the southern taste, I'm just going to cut off the end piece, of this neck bone. And I'm talking about this small amount. And I'm going to put it over there in them carrots. Again, so it has that smoked, sweet, and then that salty taste. It's just fabulous. Little bitty touches like this. Sometimes I'll throw a little piece of meat like this even when I'm cooking rice. But since I put some chicken stock, I put a half a cup of water and a half a cup of chicken stock to boil my rice. And but just putting this little small piece of meat in those carrots, again, just gives it that southern. It just flows all the way through everything that you're cooking. Okay, so that's how you do sweet and butter glazed carrots. Now on to the next dish. Okay, next up, y'all, is good old-fashioned Jiffy cornbread muffin mix. And that's what I'm going to make muffins this time. And good thing, some people say, oh, this ain't real cornbread. Yes, it is cornmeal. It's just made by Jiffy. And that's all it is when you're making cornbread. You just buy cornmeal, put a little salt in it, a little sugar, an egg, and some evaporated milk or regular milk. Now, I always use evaporated milk. So anyway, just pouring that in there. The only difference between this and the regular cornmeal, this has a little flour in it because it's more of a cornbready, cakey, which is what we like. Some people like that cakey type, cornmeal. And I just take my fork and just sift through it, make sure I get all the lumps out. This requires 1 egg. Okay. 1 egg, and then let me get my milk, my evaporated milk. And I just eyeball it. 1/3 of a cup is not that much, but I've been making this for so long, I can just about guess how much I need to pour in there. So anyway, again, when you're making cornbread, corn muffin, just follow the directions on the box, and just begin to stir it in. I'm gonna put about 1/4 of a cup of sugar. Again, I eyeball this, but for the sake of this video, about 1/4 of a cup of sugar, or to your taste. And you can mix this up with a hand mixer if you want to, but I just use my fork. Plus my fat arms need some exercise anyway. Now what I'm going to do, I'm putting it in this little muffin mix. You can buy a muffin pan, of course, or buy these from any dollar store, grocery store. And I've already just poured some oil in the bottom of each one. And I'm just going to take this napkin and spread it around so it doesn't stick, and so that they pop out beautifully. Okay. And of course, you just pour, and don't fill it all the way up. Okay. You gotta allow for it to rise. So if y'all can see that, that's not filled all the way up. It's almost 3/4 full. What I mean by that, a plastic spatula. Every woman should have one of them in her kitchen. That way you can utilize all your batter. Nothing goes to waste. Here are your corn muffins ready to go into the oven, and you cook them for about 10 to 12 minutes, and they're done. On to the next dish. Okay, the next thing on the menu for this good old Southern down home comfort Sunday dinner is these Martha White banana nut muffin mix. And what I love about these is that everything is already in here. All you gotta add is milk. What? That's all you gotta do. So we're just gonna start. And what I'm gonna do is cook this and the cornbread at the same time. That way, you know, you're killing two birds with one stone. Okay. And again, this just requires is a half a cup of milk. So all I'm gonna do, open this bad boy up, pour it in here in the mixing bowl. Okay. Now, of course, again, children, they like extra. So all I'm going to do is just sprinkle just a little extra sugar in here. Okay. And I'm going to pour, actually, let me measure. Because if you go overboard with this milk, it'll be crumbly versus cakey. So I just need a half a cup. And again, you can use regular milk, but I love evaporated milk because it just takes the taste of whatever you're cooking to a whole nother level. I mean, it really does. So you just put a half a cup of that in there, and we're ready to go. It says 14 to 17 minutes. So my cornbread is about 12 to 14 minutes. So of course I'll just check on my cornbread first and just take the cornbread out first. So these, we can fill these just about all the way up because we want the tops of these muffins to have a big old mushroom top, like a real fat top. You got a full course dinner, plus you've already got your dessert out the way. That's it for the banana nut and the corn muffins. On to the next dish. Let's see what our collard greens look like. Here what my carrots look like. Okay, you see how I got they've simmered down, and of course your basic rice, uncle beans. I always have the rice on Sunday dinner, and I've got my muffins and my cornbread. They're done. There's the cornbread, and the muffins are all the way over there in the corner by the chicken. This is it. Thanks so much for watching, and look at the pictures when I played up following the video. Love you all. God bless you, and peace be unto you.